In this video, I'm going to be talking to one of my viewers, one of you guys. His name's Tim, and he set himself up an Amazon affiliate website by following my video tutorials. The site he created has had a few good months, some of which have been four-figure months, so over $1,000 a month in commission from Amazon. So yeah, we had a good chat on Skype, and he shared with me some thoughts around creating an affiliate site, how he creates his content, and a whole load of stories and tips and tricks I think you guys are going to find useful, and I think you're going to find his story really inspirational. So, let's go! Hello, it's Alex here from WP Eagle. Hope you're all well. Now, before we get started, if you're new here, why not subscribe? You can do so by clicking on the button below. Be sure to click the bell to be notified when I upload new videos. Now, one of the questions I get all the time is, can you actually make any money as an Amazon affiliate? And of course, I always say, yes, you can. You can make as much money as you want. It really depends on how much work you put into it. But I thought it was about time for me to actually talk to someone, one of my viewers, that has built a site following some of my video tutorials, and they are actually making some money. And some pretty good money at that, you know, 4 figures a month kind of money. So yeah, rather than me just telling you guys that you can do it, I thought I should show you that you can do it. So the other day I caught up with Tim, who is a regular on the channel. He sometimes drops into the live streams, which, by the way, are every single Wednesday at 8:30 UK time. I'm there to answer your questions and have a chat about all things affiliate marketing and WordPress and all that kind of stuff. Be good to see you there if you've not joined us before. So yeah, I caught up with Tim on Skype. He was telling me that he'd watched pretty much all of my full-length tutorial videos. Have you seen them? You know, these kind of videos. And after watching those videos, he was able to create himself an Amazon affiliate website. Now, this was back in May, I think. It was a little while ago. So he's had the site for a while, and, you know, it does take time to build up a site and get some traffic. But he's now at a point where he is earning some good money. So anyway, I've recorded the full conversation. I do apologise, it is over Skype, so the quality is not amazing. But, yeah. The content within the call, I think, is really useful, and I think it is going to be really inspiring for you guys. And those of you that are thinking about creating an Amazon affiliate site and you're not too sure, and you really want to hear someone else's story, someone who's actually making a success of it. And yeah, I think you're going to find it really useful. He does share some good tips on content and building a website and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think I'm going to just shut up and I'm going to roll the tape and leave you to enjoy it. So, roll the tape. Really pleased today to have Tim with me, who's one of my viewers on WP Eagle on my YouTube channel. And I wanted to catch up with Tim because he's been having quite a bit of success with an Amazon affiliate website that he created after watching one of my videos. So that's fantastic.
Alex.
Sorry?
I think I've seen them all at this point.
You've seen all my videos. Well, yeah, that's great. So, well, let's start. Tell me a little bit about the site. I'm going to show the site. In fact, I'll put it up on the screen now in a post-production edit. But it's all around having a smart home, basically, isn't it?
Yes. Yep. So the name of the site is it's onesmartcrib.com. And it's all manner of smart home technology, an Amazon affiliate site, obviously. And you know, I initially got started by watching your Kingdom series, and you know, created the Kingdom site, put it up. Had sort of mixed review in terms of, you know, Kingdom tech functionality and so forth.
Yeah.
Had a bunch of snags along the way, but you know, ultimately it's been you know, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride, as you and I have talked before. But you know, it's at this point, you know, the site is monetized. It's making money, you know, month over month, which is, you know, fantastic. And you know, not going to lie, it's been a ton of work to get, with, you know, the main focus obviously being on content. And you know, roughly just today, I think I've got roughly about 35 articles up.
Okay, well, that's not a huge amount. I mean,
right.
Some people, like over on Income School, they say you need a good few hundred before you can even start making any money.
Absolutely, yeah. No, then I think, you know, based on that, you know, essentially, if I had, you know, 4 times the content that I have today, I'd probably be able to quit my day job and take this full time. So I think that number, the 150 article number, is probably spot on. And just knowing what it's taken to get to the 35 articles, a ton of work, obviously, to get to one. So that's my plan going forward, is to really focus on, producing more content. I think with me, my biggest issue is I'm a perfectionist. So I spend a lot of time tweaking and retooling and going back with with my current articles. And I think that I need to stop doing that and focus on creating new stuff.
Just new stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's good to be a perfectionist and try and get everything as good as it possibly can. But it does kind of stop you from moving forward, doesn't it? Because you're never quite happy with the work you've done. You want to keep working on it, make it even better.
Exactly.
I think there's a balance there between quantity and quality, isn't there? You want to keep the quality up, but then you also want to maintain a good quantity.
Absolutely right.
So yeah, I've got a few questions. I mean, we'll kind of go where it goes. But the first thing is I want to ask, and this is a question a lot of people ask me, is how did you come up with the niche, or niche, I should say, obviously, to the Americans?
Yeah, so it's funny. You and I were just talking about Amazon Alexa.
Yeah.
I was an early adopter of Alexa, so I've had an Alexa for roughly a little better than a year, and I love the thing. So I use it every day, and then from there I went. I bought a couple smart plugs for myself and lights and so forth, and I said, man, this is absolutely the future. This whole smart home thing is a lot of fun and exciting and so forth. And I thought, if I could somehow build a business off of this new thing that I'm kind of digging quite a bit, how cool could that be?
Yeah. No, they are really cool, and
Yeah.
I guess I always say that when people ask me how do I choose a niche or a niche. I say, think of something that you're interested in to start with, or something that you really like, because that will make it a lot easier for you to be inspired and get some energy behind your business.
Exactly.
And that's obviously what you did. So then did you do any kind of research into any other sites that were out there, any competition, or did you just kind of jump in with both feet and just go for it?
No, so yeah, absolutely. So I did do quite a bit of looking around, and of course, one of the biggest challenges that I have. So I'm competing with the PC Mags of the world, the CNETs of the world,
Yeah.
the big boys, and there's a ton of competition out there. Where I've had some success there is essentially using the keyword golden ratio.
Yeah.
Really just again re-optimizing, tweaking, and so forth, to get some some traction in terms of keywords and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So let's talk a little bit about the site. You mentioned you did set it up with Kingdom. I noticed now. I think you're running Flatsome theme.
So it's actually X theme.
Oh, X theme. Okay.
And so it's X, and it's the ethos. So you've got X theme, and then there's a bunch of
the ethos stack. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm using the ethos stack. Pretty much since I lit that up, I saw my conversions go up, which is interesting. And I think there's a slider that runs across the top of the theme. And I noticed, looking at some heat map reports and so forth, that slider gets a ton of clicks. So essentially, what's happening is that people are hanging around the site longer, and I think that with my conversions. So X theme is pretty great.
And are you still using WooZone, or are you just generating content?
I am. Yeah. So I think you and I talked before. So I had an issue with when I installed X, where Google was actually indexing the pricing, and it would show the pricing in the Google search results, Alex.
Yeah.
And then I got super nervous that pricing, because it was going out of date, that I get penalized from Amazon. But I guess if just as long as we've got the pricing and the data last update on the site and all that good stuff, I should be okay.
I think you're fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So my plan is to re-index. So I de-indexed all my product pages because of that, and now my plan is to re-index them. That'll get me some more traffic. But I've got roughly about 1,000 products up on the site. Kingdom.
That's cool. So talking about traffic, I mean, I guess you're running Google Analytics. Do you know where your traffic's coming from? Is it mostly from organic search?
It is, yeah. So what's interesting is it's been a mix, and again, this is part of my roller coaster ride in terms of traffic and what's happened with the site. So my site was hacked a couple of times. The first time when I got hacked was in July. I was running Zippos for security. No word fence, no nothing, essentially. So my site was, vanilla HostGator with no security. Shame on me. So
it happens.
Yep. So the site was hacked pretty bad. bunch of executable files were uploaded to the root of the FTP, and then of course you get that dreaded email from Google basically
they
saying,
find out about it before you do.
exactly. So I got an email from them saying there was malware on my site, and I nearly had a heart attack. But then and then I got hit with the penalty. So that Google doesn't like malware on websites, obviously. So then traffic dropped off at that point.
Yeah,
and then
but they will put you back on once you clean it up.
Exactly. Yeah. And then so the other thing that I was doing and marketing heavily was on Pinterest. And I had maybe, I don't know, probably upwards of 300 custom pins that I had created. I spent a ton of time on Pinterest, and I actually loved doing that part of it, creating the pins and posting up and so forth. And I was getting a ton of traffic from Pinterest. I also subscribed, in addition to doing manual pinning, I also subscribed to Tailwind. And essentially what happened there, I think Pinterest is kind of a funny beast, because essentially they give the impression that you can do what you want in terms of pin everywhere, but that's really not the case. So what I was doing, I was manually pinning maybe 10 to 15 pins a day, and then on top of that I had Tailwind running, and that was pinning about 30 to 40 pins a day.
Okay. Just for the viewers, can you just clarify what Tailwind is?
Yeah, so Tailwind is an application that is actually sanctioned by Pinterest that automates the pinning of pins to your different boards, group boards, your own boards. Essentially, you can stick pins wherever you want using Tailwind.
Okay, that sounds good.
My sad story is I was overdoing it. So the 50 pins a day consistently being pinned to, probably roughly about 30 or 40 boards, Pinterest did not like that.
It got flagged up as being a bit spammy or something.
It's exactly what happened. Despite all my protests, they banned me from Pinterest. So all that work, my entire pin collection, all that stuff lost essentially. So
well, I guess you did go back and fight that, but there was no.
Yeah, but the thing that really stinks there is that they don't warn you, basically. So they just ban you, despite multiple protests and so forth. So lost my Pinterest account completely, and I was doing it at that point. I think I was doing maybe between 300 and 400 visits a day from Pinterest only. So that was my main traffic source. Yep. So since then, I've been focused on Google. And also I've got a Facebook account, Twitter, Instagram as well.
Have you not gone back to Pinterest, opened a new account?
Say again?
Did you go back to Pinterest and open a new account?
So I did open a new account, but it's interesting because when they block you, they block you. So so essentially, if someone goes to One Smart Crib today and they click on one of my beautiful pins that I spent 2 hours creating, it basically says access denied. They get an error message. It'll say access denied. They're not allowed to pin my pins from my website to Pinterest anymore. So it's a hard block, basically.
Wow.
The workaround that I've been doing is essentially I've got a Medium blog as well, and I've been pinning very moderately from my Medium blog to Pinterest, and that's fine. But then you've got to hop from Medium to the website and so forth. So it's not going to be a major source of traffic. So that's probably enough said about my sad Pinterest experience. But I'm also on Facebook. I'm in some Facebook groups that have been, driving some good quality traffic. So a couple Facebook groups. And then I'm active on Twitter. Twitter less in terms of generating the traffic, but it does seem to help with the branding quite a bit.
Yeah, it would do. So talking about that kind of stuff, have you done any link building as such? Any guest posts or I don't know, reach outs or anything like that?
Limited. Again, so I've got the Medium blog, and I had a Google Plus account before that went away. Tumblr and so forth. So I'm on sort of all of the major social media sites and trying to replicate my content out there. And I've done a limited amount of guest post blogging, but I need to do more of that, and that's one of my goals for over the next few months.
Okay. So you're talking about content. How do you create your content? Are you writing it all yourself, or are you outsourcing it to any writers?
Yeah. For the most part, I'd say 90% of the content I have been writing on my own. I've tried a couple of text brokery type things.
Yeah.
But I find the quality is you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a cheapskate. So a $5, if you pay 5.50, even 15, 20, $30 for a blog post, the quality isn't really there. And I think one of the reasons for my success is that is that the voice of the articles tends to be kind of fun, and it's
Yeah.
got sort of 80s theme associated with it. So every one of my articles generally has some sort of an 80s reference in an 80s photo or whatever.
That's cool.
And it's hard to replicate. It's hard to allow someone else to sort of provide that content. Again, I think this comes back to me being sort of perfectionist slash control freak. and
Yeah. But yeah, I
kind
mean, how long does it take for you to create a piece of content? Do you have a template or anything that you use, or?
Sure, yeah. It's got really two different main sort of focus articles that I've been working on. So first is so just the general product review, and then the other is a comparison. So I also do a lot of comparison. So Echo Show version 3 version 2 versus Echo Show version 1 would be an example. And I find the comparisons are more successful than the flat reviews, at least for me. And I think it's because of the niche that I'm in is just so super competitive that the more focused keywords I'm able to do better with.
With very, very specific. So
Exactly.
if you're going to write a piece of content like that, would you get hold of the products and do it yourself like that, or would you just go around the internet and look for inspiration that way?
Yeah, so it's been a mix. As I mentioned earlier, I actually have a number of smart home devices that I purchased myself that are essentially still sitting in the box because I plan to launch a YouTube channel over the course of the next couple months, and I keep putting that on the back burner, but I need to get that to the front burner sooner rather than later. But yeah, so to answer your question, it's been a mix of buying stuff and then testing it myself, and then also going out and doing a ton of research in forums and on Amazon, looking at the customer reviews and so forth. So yeah. And then you asked about how long it takes. It's taken to produce an article. So it's interesting. So the first go is probably, I'd say, the equivalent of, I want to say I probably spend 10 to 12 hours on a single article. And then there's probably an additional 4 to 5 hours of tweaking on top of that. But that's not all writing, obviously. So it's keyword research, it's optimization, and all that good stuff as well.
Yeah. It takes time. I mean, yeah, that's why you have to sometimes weigh up between the cost and time and whatever. It depends if you've got more money or time, I guess, then you can balance it. So you started the site back in May 2018, is that right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. And in terms of, let's talk about the money. I mean, everyone's going to want to know about the money. So between May and August, so what's that off the top of my head? That's like 4 months or something like that? 3 months?
Yeah. So
I was doing about less than $25 a month.
Exactly. Yep. So first 4 months, I think maybe it was $5 a month for the first 3 months.
Yeah.
And then the fourth month I hit 25. And of course that's pretty exciting, right?
Yeah, that you start to see something happening.
Right, exactly. And then it slowly, gradually as the holidays approached, particularly, started to build. And I think it's from a timing perspective, I sort of hit that right. And of course, smart home technology, you've got Black Friday.
Yeah, but it's an increasing trend in general, that niche, I guess. It's people are getting more into it.
Right, hopefully.
Yeah, I think it's the future, as you say. And then it all kind of happened in November. That was when you popped the champagne cork because it was Black Friday in November, obviously, and that was when you had your best month, doing over $1,000 in 1 month.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that was about roughly about 1,200. And it's interesting because literally I sat there over the course of 3 days, Black Friday and so forth. And at that point, I had, I don't know, maybe a couple dozen articles up. But I literally sat there on Amazon and kept, as I'm sure a lot of affiliates do, kept checking the report.
Yeah, every single hour, whatever. Yeah.
watching the sales come in one after the next, and
Yeah.
that was super exciting. And at that point, I said, yeah, this is absolutely what I want to do with my future.
Perfect. So do you think there was any rhyme or reason to it? Do you think it was just maybe some good timing in your part that you already had the site up for a good few months, so it had a little bit of credibility, and then you kind of got the timing right with Black Friday, you'd already got some content up? Or is there anything else that you think might have kind of encouraged that success that month?
Yeah, no. So I think that's exactly it. I did create quite a few holiday posts. So things that were specific to the holidays. For example, I created a post around, here are 10 cool things to ask Alexa at Christmas time.
Okay.
And that was a wildly successful post. And then I also essentially what I did was I was watching Amazon in terms of holiday sales and things that they had, and I was proactively creating articles around that, and that seemed to get me traffic as well.
Yeah. So that's good. You're actually looking at what's going on. So and then December was a pretty good month as well, just under $1,000 a month. And then January's a little bit less, but that's kind of what you expected. You knew that it was going to be busy around Christmas, and this is a bit of a quieter period.
Although to be honest, Alex, I didn't really fully get what an impact the sort of Black Friday Cyber Monday thing would have. I mean, it's 5 to 10 times the amount of traffic and activity that I was seeing prior, and I think that will also continue to be the case, next year. And so that was Black Friday is a very real phenomenon.
For sure. Okay, so a couple more questions before we wrap up.
Yep.
So going forward, you've got a few plans. I guess content is your number one priority still.
Absolutely, yes. Yep. Content. I've got to get to that 150 article mark somehow.
Yeah.
When I hear the Income School guys, I just watched a video from them saying, Q1, try and produce 150 articles. I'm thinking, oh my god. And then one of the guys said something like, yeah, but you're going to be producing content until you're blue in the face. And I thought, 150 articles in 3 months, forget it. There's just no way.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
My own. But obviously, if there's, if you, like you said, if you can afford to outsource some of that, you could potentially get there. But I feel like if I can get to 150 articles over the course of the next year, that's
still pretty good. I mean, yeah, Income School have got a whole team of writers for them, working for them full time. Yep. So it's quite easy to get articles written. Just talking about articles while we're on that subject, how do you come up with your ideas for articles?
Yeah, so it's been my site right now is heavily focused on a couple different things. So it's Amazon Alexa, it's universal remote controls. I've actually had some luck there, and then other basic smart home tech that you might expect, like smart plugs, smart lights, and so forth. I think essentially going forward, what I want to do is I want to niche down even more and get into some more very specific products. So, for instance, there's a whole category that's seems to be gaining momentum called hydroponics. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's the idea of growing your own plants, food, and so forth in your house.
Yeah.
And those systems now have become smart, where you can essentially, you can control how much water, how much nutrients, how much things, how all of that happens over Wi-Fi, over your smartphone, and so forth. So it's that type of a product is something that I think that I need to do more of.
That's going even more specific into your niche, isn't it? And that's maybe even a niche by itself, possibly.
Exactly. Yeah. And the reason is that trying to compete with PC Mag and the CNETs of the world and so forth on smart plugs. The harder
you haven't got a chance. Yeah, they've got so much authority and reputation. It's hard to beat them.
Exactly.
Okay, well, thanks for your time. There's just one last question before you go. Obviously, you're a subscriber of mine, and we mentioned Income School, and you mentioned keyword golden ratio, so that would be Doug Cunnington. But is there any other YouTubers that you watch that you might recommend?
Yeah, I'd say so. In terms of Pinterest, so I got started with Pinterest. So the Caffeinated Blogger, I don't know if you're familiar with
Caffeinated Blogger. No, I'm not familiar.
Yeah, so he's got a ton of great videos around Pinterest and so forth. Income School, obviously, yourself, and Doug as well have all been. That's essentially my sort of core of mentors.
Okay, That sounds good enough to me. That's perfect.
Well,
all right, thanks a lot for your time, Tim, and obviously we'll see you in the live streams, maybe if you can make it, and on the channel in the future. But yeah, thanks for sharing your stuff with us today. It's going to really help out everybody, I'm sure. All right, thanks a lot.
All right, excellent. Thank you.
So there you go. Hopefully you found that really inspirational. It's good to see that people are making a success of it, and it can be done. Just requires a bit of work, some determination, and of course, a good niche. If you've got any questions or comments about this, or you just want to send a message to Tim, leave a comment below and I'm sure he'll read it. I certainly will read it, and I'll try and reply to as many as I possibly can. If you fancy watching something else, there's a couple of videos that have appeared on the screen now. They've been chosen especially for you, so I hope you enjoy them. You can subscribe by clicking on the eagle, and do check out my vlog site. You can do that by clicking on my face. Until next time, bye for now.